Good morning and welcome to a brand new week. It's the GMCR show, Monday Live. My name is Afi Nia. It's always such a pleasant experience to be one of the very first people to reach out to you on a beautiful morning like this. It's the GMCR show once again, and today we will be going education. And you know what? You can never stop learning. There are changes in every sector of life per minute or per second. So we've got to keep abreast with all the current facts and all the current things that are happening. Well, today on the GMCR show, I would like to personally congratulate Nigerians on our 2-0 win victory yesterday over Mali, making this the 5th time that the under-17 team will be carrying the cup. Congratulations, Nigeria. Well, today on the show, as usual, we have a very exciting package for you, and we would like to start with an interview on youth entrepreneurship. When exactly, at what age should young people actually get involved in entrepreneurial activities? Then right after that, we will have another interview on the importance of education. I'm sure someone out there is just saying, I mean, everyone should know that education is important, but you'll be surprised to find out that for some people, other things, priorities are set on other things apart from education. We'll also have a report on gap tooth. We should have had this last week, but unfortunately our package was so tight that we couldn't bring it to you. So today on the show, we'll bring you gap tooth. And now that's talking about a feature on someone's body that other people find attractive. When you meet someone, what's that thing that first of all catches your attention? So today we'll look at people who have gap tooth. Dignity in labor. Are you proud of what you're doing? Are you proud of the kind of business that you're doing? We'll bring you dignity in labor. There's also a vox pop, and our crew went to town to find out how the students feel about going back to school. They've actually been on a 2-week strike, so we want to know if they're excited about going back and if all the problems that they were protesting about have been sorted out by Unico management. There's also a collaboration between the University of Calabar and the Omar Bongo University of Ghana. The management of these two universities came together to see how they can move education forward. AM News would come your way at 9 a.m. and we'll also have a lot of music on the show. Well, I do hope you had a glorious weekend. Thank you so much for staying on to the GMCR show Monday Live. Stay with us.
Hello and welcome to Good Morning Cross River Monday. Every Monday we do education, and today we decided to do something, dignity of labor. Sometimes life offers us opportunities where we have to do with what we given, and then you find out that people do what they are doing even though it is not what they actually wanted to do, you know, with diligence and all of that. So today we decided to take a walk to the streets of Calabar to find out what in particular gives people that drive to do what they want to do, or rather what life gives to them to do, and then they do it diligently. My name is Janice Kobum. Stay with us.
Because of since that I want to I don't have any good work that I'm doing, so I decided to use this one to help myself. We enjoy the day driving. So what we are our own, because I didn't even work because the past year. This is only what I'm doing. But our of the keke is for the all that. Because our tax is too much for us. Because we are paying tax 700 naira now, and we are not give us enough road to apply. So that's what we are not enjoying again for this KK business. But with you, what the KK airport, at least you have to much in that. Very, very good for the young youth, you understand, for the units. And most of the work of this place and the community things, we are the best of the community. And we are the one that control the work before the government, you understand? And for now, government is warning us here, we should cook from here because of the hold up and some other thing. And now, right now, we are having a chance to transfer this thing to another place so that the youth will be having something to eat gradually. So I still believe that if government will still stand with us, I still like it so far. They should not bring this thing out from here so that we should have something to eat even tomorrow. Why I'm in the business of keke driving? Because there is no job in Nigeria. Then the tax is too much. We use this keke business to pay our business is to maintain ourselves and our family. Where this World 1, understand? Because now World 1 we do so now the youth, understand? So since it's a work no resource inside park, they understand. So yeah, now you share the work, they share the work and give to different type of people. So every week this side we do, another week another side we do. This is where we are getting our choppings because we will not go and sleep. So anyhow, from those 30 before you know we have something to take home, and from there, you know, we can settle every kind of thing. So that's just it.
All right. Sometimes I know that when you're doing a job that looks kind of demeaning, you know, and then you get to see someone, you know, you kind of feel ashamed of it. So I want to find out from these people if sometimes they feel ashamed of what they do.
I cannot feel ashamed of doing it. I cannot feel ashamed. It's a business which I'm doing it for a living. So I cannot feel ashamed of doing it because it is better than for me to go and see it. So I enjoy doing it. I cannot feel ashamed of it. As keke that we are driving here, we are driving safely, we take our passenger. Yes, I feel ashamed, but in another aspect, to feed my family. So I have to do it so that I might feed my family instead of me to stay idle. This one when I do so, this everybody work. So as it be so, me I like the work based on say if I don't get anything to do, I will come out come hustling so that I will get money. So anybody when no want you, when no get papa, when no get mama, suppose come do any kind of work so that you no go steal. And you go get everything go dey chop day by day. So that one I make me they come out constant for road, they make money. Even 10 naira, 5 naira, now correct thing. You hear me? Yes, if I finish, I will still clean up. Entire, go see my room, anywhere you are like. You don't understand? I go flex with the bar. You say you will ask me, guy, how far you get something to enjoy, you understand? So I will tell you, say, guys, nothing there in my pocket, my woman to go of staff, you don't understand me. So now, everything they come out, they come road, you understand? The way you borrow. I come from Cameroon. I find my life from Cameroon. I don't find work from Cameroon. I come from Nigeria. Small money fishing for my picking go school. Yes. Maybe talk plenty. Now if you talk you, I do borrow. I know the fear. My life now. 5,500. Now one more fit. I think keep 20 money. I send them smoke. Can't tell any money. I found you. Mera no amide bindom determined. At least we are going to university. Nan commander Indian maintain my life. Don't be a happy woman. So I just say what you say, and go on minute, and I'm going to mean what can I'm but I found you. For me, I like this my offer. I like what I'm doing for myself. From this offer, I make use of myself. So I cannot just wait for a man to come and look for me. Or from this offer, I'll do what I cannot do. So I like my business very well. I advise the old women to wake up and do something for their own self. So thank you very much.
I'm a president here. A cooperative one market sellers in the Corporate Cooperative Society, Calabar South. I'm an undergraduate, but I love doing my business. When I left school in 1998, my secondary school, I didn't have anything doing. I didn't have any money to further. My parents were not capable anymore. I decided, by God's grace, I'm enjoying what I'm doing now. I want to encourage our young men now They cannot sit down and wait for government to do everything for them. In our own time, it's very bad now. Going like those days, you cannot still wait for government. Sit down in your house and wait. Go out and find something doing for yourself. So even through you can encourage others staying at home.
You suppose like what you see, but then tell me what they I feel like
Gap tooth, also referred to medically as diastema, is a space or gap between two teeth. Many species of mammals have diastema as a normal feature, most commonly between the incisors and molars. In humans, the term is most commonly applied to an open space between the upper incisors, which is the front teeth. It happens when there is an unequal relationship between the size of the teeth and the jaw. In Canterbury Tales by Geoffrey Chaucer, he wrote of the gap-toothed wife of Bath. As early as this time period, the gap between the front teeth, especially in women, was associated with lustful characteristics. Thus, the implication in describing the gap-toothed wife of Bath is that she is a middle-aged woman with insatiable lust. This has no scientific basis, but it has been a common premise of folklore since the Middle Ages. In Ghana, Namibia, and Nigeria, gap tooth are regarded as being attractive and a sign of fertility, and some people have even had them created through cosmetic surgery. According to Ugo Treasure, in her article, "There is Beauty in a Gap Tooth," in many parts of Africa, including my birth country Nigeria, a woman with a gap in the middle of her dentition is considered a beautiful being. Women wish to have her smile. Men love to see her smile. It is believed that such a woman possesses some sort of sexual appeal and beauty. There's apparently something about that tiny space in the middle of the upper teeth that makes many Africans go wild. In France, they are called dents du bonheur, lucky teeth. This expression originated in Napoleon's time. When the Napoleonic army recruited, it was imperative that soldiers had incisors in perfect condition because they had to open their powder magazine with the teeth in order to recharge their rifles that they had to hold with their two hands. All those who had teeth apart were then reformed as unfit to fight. Some men were breaking their own teeth voluntarily to avoid going to war. LeBlanc's Gap-Toothed Woman is a documentary film about diastematic women released in 1987 in New York City. A charming valentine to women born with a space between their teeth, ranging from light-hearted whimsy to a deeper look at issues like self-esteem and societal attitudes towards standards of beauty. So now we're on the streets to find out people's view on gap tooth. Don't go away.
Mostly I admire women that has it, also men. In fact, it adds more beauty to their face, and most times I wish I could have, you understand? So I admire them a lot.
To me, it doesn't bother whether you have a gap tooth or not. But what I take in ladies is the character first and the behaviors. But it's not the gap tooth that will make me follow you. But if you have good character, I'll follow you to any extent.
But I think it's a natural thing that so many persons possess.
I like women who has gap tooth because whenever they smile, it gives me a kind of an inner feeling. Though that feeling is not one that will captivate me to maybe having a lust over a woman. Yes, but I just like them. Just like them.
Gap tooth is sometimes caused or exacerbated by the action of a labial frenulum, the tissue connecting the lip to the gum, causing high mucosal attachment and less attached keratinized tissue, which is more prone to recession, or by tongue thrusting, which can push the teeth apart. The technical term for a tooth gap is diastema, from the Greek stem diasthenai, meaning to stand apart. Dentists often treat a gap when it occurs in the top row of the teeth along the front and is visible whenever you open your mouth or smile. Where some people see personality in a gap between teeth, others just want closure on the issue. Diastema is one of the most common dental issues caused by everything from thumb sucking to gum disease. It is possible to cosmetically or surgically address these dental issues. Methods to adjust this dental condition include traditional braces, Invisalign, aligners, which are the clear alternative to metal braces for adults, kids, and teens, dental bands or direct dental bonding to make the teeth wider and thus fill up the space. One problem with orthodontic correction, however, is relapse. There is a strong propensity for the gap to reappear after treatment. This can be addressed by bonding a permanent retainer to the inside surfaces of the teeth to prevent the diastema from reopening. Some well-known people noted for having gap tooth include singer-songwriters Elton John and Seal, rapper 50 Cent, former late-night show host David Letterman, guitarist Steve Howe, supermodel Alec Weck, singer Bobby Brown and his late daughter Bobby Christina Brown, former U.S. Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice, superstar singer Madonna, Nigerian football star Kanu Nwankwo and his lovely wife Amarachi, and ace comedian Eddie Murphy, to mention a few. The list is actually endless and goes to prove that gap tooth as a feature or diastema as a defect or condition is not a limitation to achieving one's goal and being a force to be reckoned with in life. It is actually celebrated and appreciated in most cases. So be proud to give that gap-toothed smile with glee, because that's what makes you uniquely you. And if you do not have a gap tooth, don't go trying to create one artificially. You're perfect just the way you are.
Science quiz and brainwave has been a regular program on CRBC TV, where you have science students from different schools come together to slug it out on related science issues. Good Morning Monday crew decided to find out from one of the participating schools how this has impacted in their life and in their school in general, because all of this has to do with education. My name is Janice Kobo. Please stay with me.
My name is Rosette Chidera. I'm an SS3 student from University of Calabar International Demonstration Secondary School. I'm a science student.
What's interesting about science?
I love science because it helps me impact my environment positively more than any colleague of mine would do in art. After I've been to science competitions, it has grown me, it has helped me to be tolerant, especially with people who I had the competition with. It has helped me to improve in my studies because I tend to read ahead in order to make good grades at the competition. I have always wanted to be a science student because I think being a science student, I will impact in my environment more positively, and and I'll make the world a better place for every other person. Thank you.
I am Chukuma Aro. I'm an necessary student of the University of Calabar International Demonstration Secondary School. Basically, I think no country can survive without science. For instance, our country's major income is coming from crude oil, and that's also a science course. I believe a good, noble area for art students. I believe the former income that each Nigerian made was agriculture, and it's also a noble area for art students. So I'm not really criticizing art students. I feel science was a little bit superior over arts, from my science point of view. So I believe by the science competitions I go for, it also helps me to meet with other schools. Like I met someone that I haven't met for like 6 years now, and also I feel that when I learn from the mistakes I made during the science competition, it will help me to go back and like, okay, they didn't teach me this subject, let me revise this subject, this topic, and it also help, I believe it will help me in my external examinations, and that's what I think about science.
I'm a Super KB Jones. I'm an history student, University of Calabar Demonstration Secondary School. I'm a science student. What I love about science is that through science, one can achieve more than the expectation. Through science, the individual has been able to discover more and research more things that the society can benefit from. So it has added more importance to the medical aspects of the world as well as the country. And since I've dreamed that I'm going to be a medical doctor, I'll be able to help more people in different parts of the world.
Okay, I'm Anthony Odama, and I'm an SS3 student of University of Calabar International Demonstration Secondary School. Okay, science so far has been beneficial to our society. It has been beneficial to us as humans and even as students. Science brings to us the reality of life. It makes us actually understand ourselves and even our environment. For example, a science-inclined subject like physics would actually tell you why a car moves and why a car stops, and why a car would not continue moving when you apply the brake. A science subject like biology would also tell you why you're breathing, why I'm breathing right now, and why I can talk. So science gives us the reality of life. And science competitions helps us as students and brings the practical aspects of science closer to us. For example, there are certain things we will just do in class theoretically, but when we go for science competitions, we tend to do these things practically. For example, we just came back from a science competition in South Korea where we did a project, biodiesel, which we used to win. And this project brought me to understand the concept of trans-electrification better than what I was taught in class. So I feel science is almost everything. Thank you.
My name is Biwon Betian. I'm a student of Unical International Demonstration Secondary School, Calabar, and I'm a science student. I don't think the importance of science can be like overemphasized, because science is a component of our everyday life. For instance, like without science, a car can't move, because even when you put the petrol in the car, you need a process of science, that's combustion, that's what helps the car to move. And also biology, like a subject like biology, you need like scientific processes in your body, like to digest food. For instance, hydrochloric acid is used in the stomach for the digestion of food. And also chemistry is a science subject, and it also like helps us, it also tells us like the components of things, like carbon. For instance, carbon is like in everything is like the essential in our everyday life. For instance, our bone mass has carbon, and almost everything we do, like chemistry tells us, has carbon. And the importance of science competitions cannot be overemphasized, because science competitions help you, like you read ahead of your classmates in order to get good grades and pass in the competition. And it also exposes you, it also helps in socialization, because you meet a lot of people you haven't met before and you learn more from them. An art student cannot tell you the use of a lightning conductor, because a lightning conductor, we were taught that in physics. A lightning conductor traps lightning so that the building won't be set ablaze. But an art student cannot tell you the use or importance of that. But as a science student, I can tell you, a lightning conductor, it's always spiky. It's a metal spiky object. Whenever the thunder or lightning is sent from the atmosphere, because let me just tell you the process of how lightning is made. There are charged clouds in the atmosphere. There's a positively charged cloud and a negatively charged cloud. So when free electrons are roaming about and the charged clouds strike together, that's what brings about lightning. And normally, if you notice, thunder comes after lightning. But that's because lightning comes before thunder. That's because light travels faster than sound. So after lightning, you notice there's always thunder. But an accident can't tell you that. So the work of the lightning conductor is that it traps the free electrons roaming about in the cloud and it sends it back to the earth. It's always connected to a wire that is buried in the ground. So an accident can't tell you that, but I'm a science student and I know that.
Okay, after speaking with the science students and then getting to hear their views on how special science makes them feel, we decided also to speak with the principal of Unical Demonstration International School, Dr. Aban Kingsley, to find out what it has been like his school participating in the science quiz. Let's hear from him. Good to have you on the show, sir.
It's a pleasure. You're welcome.
All right, thank you very much. Right. But before we go into that, sir, what is the significance of science?
To know the significance of science, we start first by knowing what science is all about. Okay. I think science is a body of knowledge which is gained through careful experiment, observation, and reasoning. Unlike arts, where you say God created, and we just believed it without finding out. For science, before you bring out something, you must have observed, you carry out an experiment, and you know that what you are carrying is true. Just take, for instance, you want to find out in science whether the boys cook better than the girls. Okay. So it's not an issue because you see a female and you just conclude that they do better because they are always found in the kitchen. So in science, we must have to carry it out practically. That is what science actually requires. Okay. Now you ask the boy, give the boy what it requires, and give the girl, actually put them into practice. And at the end, after a taste of the food, you now can come with the findings that, of course, this food is better than this. And on that note, this one does it better than the other. Okay. So that is all science is all. That is what science is all about. You carry things you go with things into the laboratory, you test them, you come out with findings. So science has to do more on experiment, unlike arts that we do theoretically. So I think that is all what science is all about. And so the significance of science here is so wonderful. There's nothing we can actually compare with anything. The importance is, for one, the children are in love with science because they themselves carry out something practical. It's not somebody telling them, if you mix this to this, this is what you're going to get. And the child goes into mixing it. The joy of mixing something, this and this have given me this, is enough. Like if you want to dye and tie, sometimes when you see the children in the practicals, at the end they will rush with this thing to the parents. That this is what I did myself in the school. Yeah. This is what I produced. This is what I did. And especially when you go to the physics unit, in the laboratory, you see them carrying this and at the end, the joy for themselves to have actually produced, for themselves to have actually done a particular thing. We just came back from Korea. Okay, yeah. And there, the children carry out the making of tiles and biodiesel. Okay. And you need to see these children. You know, in biodiesel, they have to bring out some certain things, mix them up. Okay. And so the same thing with the tiles, they brought papers, and they were busy working. They demonstrated and they feel the joy of producing tiles. So it's not something we can actually finish by explaining it. There is joy in you yourself being able to say, I produced this. I'm the one who made this thing happen. So the joy of the science is not to be actually overemphasized because the children themselves see the need. And they are working it, they are seeing it, it's happening the way it is, and they will carry it out. So science is really very good and it's really very important, and children enjoy it so much. If you discover that these days, as you went to the class, you discover that we have about 5 arms of particular stream, say SS3. The first 2 classes are for arts, and if you go there, they hide 30 and 35, but if you go to science classes, up to about 50. Wow. The world is going science. The children themselves love doing science. And so it's just that the importance that every person is emphasizing. So science is really very nice, and people are today. I was in the governor's office, and the man was one of the parents I met there. He said, "My child, this is what is happening everywhere. My child must be a scientist." I told him, "Well, there must be an art student. It's really very necessary, and it's good that we told towards that line. But then we are not saying that arts are not really very, very important. You must have the intrinsic and the extrinsic motivation. Okay. So the problem we have is some students, even when they don't have the intrinsic motivation, the intrinsic is the innate ability. You want to go to medicine, and you have this blood phobia. You are afraid of blood phobia, and so on that note, you can't reconcile it. So you want to go and read law, you don't know literature and English, you can't do it. That's so true. For you to see a doctor with the apron on, and you say, okay, because of this, I want to read it. That is most of them. Well, I want to be a common engineer. He does not know mathematics, he does not know physics and all those things. So, but well, since they are dancing towards that, they should also develop interest to the science subject. That is what will actually happen. If not, you end up frustrating yourself because you will start it. At the end, you fall back to either social sciences or arts.
All right, quickly, sir. I know that very well that your school has been participating in the CRBC science quiz. Now, how has that impacted on your students?
Let me start by appreciating the efforts of the CRBC that have been coming here. They have been so faithful and dedicated. Every year they are coming here. For you to drag students from their different schools for about a week, it means that alone is enough to give them a kudos. Yeah. They have been trying very, very well. You know, for children to leave their school to start with, some of them, when they hear Unical International Secondary, have not been here before. So coming down here alone is a plus. And I was telling one of the teachers in the hall, I said, what people don't know, if you keep your even JS1 student and listen to 5 of them, you must have learned something. Yes. For them to listen to other speakers, maybe the assessors and so on, for them to listen to other students from other schools, it's a plus on their part. And at least we know what competition is all about. Yeah. Anytime you are going out for a competition, you can't just fold your hands. You go extra mile to reach. That alone is enough to make them to sit up and work hard. By the time we go, what if they ask this? I went to the hall yesterday. I saw so many of them were busy trying to struggle to read because you don't know where the question is coming from. It's an exam. Examination will make you to have that anxiety, the consciousness of the fact that this is what. And by the time you read and know that 1 + 1 is 2, even if you couldn't make it here in this time, the same question may appear in your exams, in your aptitude test and something else. So that alone is something that they have been doing it, and I'm happy they have been faithful and dedicated to the program, and it's making students to sit up and work hard. If you fail a particular question, that's the question you've been to knowing it better. So where they fail, they go back to read. Where they make it, they will celebrate it and learn more. And one good thing in learning, it is when only you have been able to give out. The thing you are able to give out, you can't forget them. That's true. But if you just learn it and you keep it to yourself, by the time they ask you, you may get lost. So I think the competition is a healthy one, and I appreciate they should continue. Although we have been given the hall for nothing for them to.
All right, on the lighter mood, you have over the years participated in this science quiz. Has your school ever won?
Yes, the school won about 2 or 3 times in the science competition. And you know, this is not is objective issue that sometimes you may get lost. Yes, but as for they have won about 2 or 3 times that I know very well.
Okay, now before I let you go, your advice to students in general?
My advice to we have so many schools in Calabar. Okay. CRBC have been doing something so wonderful. Why not we key into it? You are not paying anything. You just come here and interact with others and elicit what you have been keeping and you have been studying all this time. It will be a kudos on the part of the student and the school. And so whenever you are invited, come. It's not until in a competition you must win. Sometimes you let others and you celebrate with them. It's not all the times. It's not all the times that you're a winner. If you all win, you'll not learn how a loser used to, what a loser is missing or is gaining. So from time to time, you missed it, you get it. And even if you are missing it, you may not all miss all the questions. The one that you know. So it's something very healthy, and I feel the CRBC should actually keep it up.
All right.
Thank you very much.
All right, as we've heard from the principal and of course some of the students, it's a science world. The world is actually going global, I tell you. As an art student, I don't think you just have to feel any less than a science student. Whatever subject you find yourself doing is just right for you to be focused and read your books very well. My name is Janice Kobum, and the program continues.
Hello and welcome to Good Morning Cross River Monday. Education is the bedrock of any progressive society. Right now we're going to show you excerpts from the collaborative meeting between University of Calabar, Nigeria and Omar Bongo University, Libreville, Gabon, on the need to strengthen existing ties. Stay with us.
We want to collaborate with areas of our strength and our weaknesses on both sides. But the important thing is, we must know when the first set of students will move from which place to which place. When the first half may go to teach certain areas, certain postgraduate courses where capacity is lacking in either area. All this, we hope, will bring about very healthy cooperation at the growth of universities in the South-Saharan Africa. But that has been the issue that we in South-Saharan Africa should cooperate, collaborate, mix together, and use the strengths of our neighbors, of our friends, to improve our weaknesses. And that's exactly why we are here. We thank the rector for personally leading this team. Actually, he even almost constituted the ambassador. But the ambassador was engaged and could not get a chance to come around. But we thank you for coming. And where you have come is Calabar, like my man said, come and be at rest. We hope that you will enjoy this town, walk and enjoy the town. And anytime you feel that, in fact, the next convocation is coming up. It's just, my director was in Rio convocation, and I jealous. I was jealous. So you should be ready. Our next convocation, which is coming up about March, we will still be expecting you to come back, and specifically for that convocation. At that time, we might even have stories of already successful interaction and collaboration already. I thank you for coming. You are very welcome. Thank you.
This is in respect of 2016. This relates to exchange of lecturers and researchers. I want this cooperation to begin in 2016 with an exchange of lecturers and researchers. For 2016, University of Bongo is ready to start a research and lecturing program with you at the master's level. And that would also want you to to make your journals ready for us, because we would like our lecturers to publish in your journals in English in every area of socialization. That is areas that relate to the domains we are specializing in Omar Bongo University. This is because we work more in French, and you know that the Gabon is just about 1 million, and the Francophonie, the French world, is just about 270 million people. Whereas in English, if they were to publish in English, they would have a wider coverage, because the English-speaking world is over 1 billion, and this would give them more access to the international community. And then we also hope to have a joint publication with your university on a given theme. where our own researchers and researchers would jointly publish that journal on that given theme. Then in respect of students' exchange, we think that this should be in 2017 because for now we are not yet ready. And this is because our hostels are being renovated. And it is expected that when they finish that renovation by 2017, a section of the hostel will be reserved for foreign students coming from outside. Thank you.
Nous sommes en train, à l'université Omar Bongo, actuellement, de renouveler la conception de la coopération universitaire. Parce que nous sommes en train, à l'université Omar Bongo, actuellement, de renouveler la conception de la coopération universitaire. Parce que nous voulons que cette coopération universitaire soit une coopération sud-sud. Il y a de nombreux domaines universitaires dans lesquels les universités nigérianes, et en particulier l'université de Calabar, est en avance par rapport à nous, à l'université Omar Bongo.
There are many areas where Nigerian universities, particularly University of Calabar, are quite ahead of us, and then we wish to learn from you.
Notre coopération portera sur des échanges dans des domaines comme ceux de l'anglais et de l'enseignement de l'anglais et de l'enseignement du français, mais au-delà, il y a aussi des spécialités pointues dans lesquelles l'université Omar Bongo a un intérêt à coopérer avec l'université de Calabar.
Meanwhile, our collaboration with Center will focus on the exchange of English and French teaching for the areas that are really of high specialization that University of Calabar has that we wish to benefit from.
Et c'est dans ce cadre que nous nous intéressons particulièrement à l'Institut d'océanographie de l'Université de Calabar.
It's in this reason that we are particularly interested with the Institute of Oceanography, University of Calabar.
Dont nous souhaitons une coopération accrue avec le département de géographie de l'Université Omar Bongo.
Now, in this case, we want really a very high collaboration with the Department of Geography of Omar Bongo University.
Mais notre coopération la coopération entre nos deux universités est largement ouverte et elle concernera tous les domaines scientifiques, d'enseignement et de recherche sur lesquels nous voulons qu'il y ait une coopération étroite.
But our cooperation is very wide open in all fields of science and research.
Pour le moment, je crois qu'il s'agit d'une coopération entre deux universités qui coopèrent chacune avec ses moyens. Il va de soi que nous allons, à notre retour à Libreville, informer nos autorités de tutelle. En premier lieu, notre ministre de l'Enseignement supérieur, pour lui dire que nous sommes en coopération actuellement avec l'université de Calabar. Et elle, à son niveau, puisque c'est une dame, eh bien, notre ministre verra ce qu'il faudra faire au plan de la relation politique entre le gouvernement gabonais et le gouvernement de l'État de Cross River.
Now, this cooperation is essentially between two universities that are going to work with the means and resources they have. But when we go back to Gabon, we are going to inform our Minister of Higher Education, who is the lady of our mission, and she will then inform the government, and then they see what actions they will take to reinforce cooperation between the Republic of Gabon and Cross River State.
I think our first meeting, fiscal meeting, with the representatives of Omar Bongo University in Gabon for the collaborative engagement that we want to have with them. And of course, you know that universities thrive on collaboration and external linkages. see, we make up for shortfalls in staffing through this kind of exercise. And of course, we also do cross-fertilization of ideas. We do exchanges at the level of students, at the level of teachers, and of course we carry out researches in a collaborative manner. So today marks the first day of our physical meeting with the authorities of Omagbongo University in Gabon. We were represented at the highest level, their Vice Chancellor and Deputy Vice Chancellors. So we had to iron out certain areas that we think we can collaborate. So we spoke of student exchanges, even though that will not take place immediately. We spoke of exchange in terms of joint publications of our research findings. We spoke of exchange at the level of students, masters and PhDs. We spoke of exchanges at the level of teachers, to cover the areas of French language studies, in the areas of English language studies, in the areas of marine and littoral studies, in the areas of geography and even law, because we think that both universities think that we can benefit mutually through this kind of exchanges. And of course we both emphasize the fact that now is the time to do a South-South collaboration instead of going to Europe, to America or to even South Africa. So Gabon is just almost a stone throw, literally speaking, from across the down yonder. So we think that these are the exchanges that we should encourage because they are less and they are cost effective, they are less expensive, and of course we think that it will benefit both institutions. That's what took place today. Now they are going for the real technical, to iron out the real technical areas of exchange. They are going to the departments to see the concrete areas of collaboration. What we had was just a formal meeting, ceremonial. So that's what took place this morning. We are happy for it. They will be happy for it in the long run. In the next 1 month, precisely on the 1st of December, I should, by the grace of God, assume the mantle of leadership in this institution. So I'm particularly happy that this kind of exchange is taking place because this is one area I want to emphasize. It is now a trend to carry out linkages and exchanges. The world is becoming a global village. Knowledge is global. We want to promote international standards in our knowledge generation, dissemination, and of course, and also imparting knowledge to our students. So it is through this kind of cross-fertilization that we exchange ideas. This will help us improve. Our teachers that will go there will improve. Those that come here will enrich our students and our research output. So it's one area that I'm particularly planning to lay more emphasis on. This is just the beginning. We'll explore other areas. We need to explore other cooperation, other areas of cooperation with many more investors, as many investors as possible. That's what we intend to do. I'm particularly also happy that I'm personally involved in the French program. That's my mother department, and I know we'll be having problems with where to place our students in our immersion program. So I'm particularly happy that Gabon is coming on. Gabon has a very stable university system. So I'm particularly happy because that's one area that we must emphasize. Where I'm thinking on a personal note of elevating the linkages committee to a directorate. In that case, we will make it more concrete, we'll make it more serious, to be run directly, under a director. That will be. We will concentrate all his effort in linkages, promoting exchanges and linkages. That is just how far we want to take it to, because, like I said, it has become a very important part of university education worldwide.
Right now, we have come and we have brought those people involved in those areas to actually see the real items, the real like research areas, like subjects like this that we are collaborating. So it's not that I'm leaving, it's that it's something that I already started, so just continue. Well, normally there is nothing you do that you don't expect some challenges. There's this challenge of, like if you want to exchange students, like you heard them say, they don't want it next year, it should be 2017, so that their hostels could be ready. We have that same problem. So it's also good for us that by 2017, we are also hoping that our hostel will be ready. So student exchange will be easy. And then apart from that, when you send students outside, you know, the cost of living there may be different from the cost of living here. So that is some challenge to both the students and so. No, what happens in collaboration is that each person has his area of strength, another person has his area of weakness. And when you go through the courses and so on, you might have a very strong lecturer in French in Gabon, which you don't have here. He comes here to do some research and teach some French. And we might have a very good lecturer in law that they don't have there. And that person goes there to assist in doing the people there. So you use your area of strength to give and to support your own area of weakness. There's none that is higher or lower.
All right, you've heard and listened to them. I hope this union will be beneficial to both schools. My name is Elizabeth Asifia. Stay tuned for the rest of the program.
Well, that's all that we have on our package this morning on the GMCR show. I do hope that you have a fruitful week. Tomorrow we'll be right back on the GMCR show and we'll be going culture and tourism. Remain blessed and see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.